Our world is but a tiny part of the universe, but its wonders are so many that no single mind can learn about all of them, even in a lifetime of study. Many educators, however, have found that the instructional sound film can bring the world vividly into the classroom and significantly increase the quantity and quality of individual learning. And that means any classroom, however remote. Furthermore, the sound film surmounts many obstacles other than remoteness. For example, there are everyday occurrences which cannot be observed by the human eye. But the motion picture can penetrate both density and opaqueness and permit every pupil to see such wonders as blood corpuscles streaming through capillaries. Here we actually see how the root of a plant grows, wherever movements occur so slowly that it is impossible to observe them directly. Time-lapse motion pictures can tell the story clearly within a few seconds. Slow motion pictures make rapid movements more understandable. Thus, the coordinated movements of this pole vaulter are studied by students in their classroom seats, better than from the best seats in the stadium. Again, classroom or laboratory demonstrations cannot be seen from the same position by all, often resulting in confusion. But carefully prepared sound films give every pupil the best possible view of a situation. By ordinary methods of subject matter presentation, written and spoken words alone possess numerous meanings, and each requires specific learning. But the sound film, combining elements of both sight and sound, provides experiences on which can be based a better understanding of words. The elements themselves are obstacles to learning. Spring rains, the rigors of summer heat, autumnal changes, and winter snows each restrict the kind of study activity in which pupils may engage. The sound film provides learning experiences regardless of the seasons. Our sense of hearing has great limitations, but an Erpi film amplifies the sound of nerve impulses, causing a muscle to contract. Other films give to the classroom sounds which are audible, but which, however, many pupils never hear. Calls of shy forest birds, the roar of great cataracts, voices of farm life, songs and languages of faraway peoples. Only the sound film captures them for all to study. Animated photography clarifies difficult concepts and creates lasting impressions. Witness the 4 cycles in the operation of the gasoline engine. Intake, compression, explosion, exhaustion. Intake, compression, explosion, exhaustion. Moreover, even the wealthiest colleges and universities cannot provide unlimited facilities for study and experimentation. Motion pictures can bring to the classrooms of all schools the instructional facilities of the world's finest laboratories, museums, or planetariums. Other types of observations may not be made because of the dangers involved. The sound film eliminates physical hazards in learning. How easily this medium overcomes time and space limitations. This scene accurately represents the movements of the sun toward the star Vega at the rate of 12 miles per second over a period of 50,000 years. Another value of the instructional sound film is its power to stimulate and convey meaning to pupils who find it difficult to learn. In a controlled experiment with Erpi's sound films, groups with low intelligence learned more in proportion to their ability to learn than did groups with higher intelligence. However, both groups made substantially greater learning gains than comparable groups without the advantage of sound film instruction. With these factors in mind, it is obvious that when such dynamic sound film study materials treat basic subject matter of the courses of study in modern schools and colleges, teaching and learning are benefited materially. Although the Erpi Instructional sound films are specifically prepared to do this, it is essential that teachers plan for their use as an integral part of classroom procedure. When this is done, the teacher becomes more effective in sharing learning experiences, and the confines of the classroom open up to bring the world within. Ordinarily, children cannot experience woodland and farm at the desire of the teacher, but in Erpi's Adventures of Bunny Rabbit, elements of such locations are readily made available and may be effectively correlated with language, music, art, and other study projects. The techniques of the professional storyteller vitalize the scene. Bunny rushes right in and helps himself to the cow's bran. "Go away," say the cows. "Go away. This bran is our food. It's not for little bunnies. Go away." It is impossible for every child to visit the farm, but sound films can bring the farm to every child. The production Poultry on the Farm deals realistically with many elements of farm life, the eating and drinking habits of chickens, the complete story of the incubator, the birthday of a new member of the farm family, or the swimming ways of baby ducklings. With the film Farm Animals, primary pupils everywhere may observe milking time, a rare scene for city children, the first meal of a baby calf just born, lunch hour for little pigs, and sheep shorn of wool for our winter clothes. Let the child learn about modern air travel by studying the film An Airplane Trip. Let him learn the ways of southwestern Indian boys and girls as portrayed by the film Navajo Children. How many grown-ups have seen inside a squirrel's nest? With the film Gray Squirrel, primary children may study squirrel life in detail. While with the production Robin Redbreast, they commune with a family of baby robins high up in their nest. At the intermediate grade level, another series of Erpi films dealing with human geography allows the learner to visit the world's remotest parts without leaving the classroom. The student can, in effect, go to North Africa to study a backward civilization, a community of people isolated from the world by forbidding cliffs and high plateaus. The student may observe the primitive nature of this civilization. In 20 minutes in the classroom, he may gain an insight into the habits and customs of a strange people, their clothing and food, an insight which otherwise could be secured only by a long, expensive journey. Or with the sound film Canals of England, he may take a trip along the Grand Union Canal and observe the results of interplaying social and economic forces over a period of more than a century. The film New England Fisherman brings the lives of men who live by deep-sea fishing into the classroom for detailed study. And the production Shellfishing permits classroom investigation of the work of clam fishermen, oystermen, or crab fishermen aboard their boats. Or with the film The Wheat Farmer, problems of our inland agricultural workers may be studied. How simple it is with the Erpi film Water Power to see how the energy of Niagara Falls is transformed into electrical power. Technical animation is the only practical means of doing this. It enables us to see the inlet valve where the water enters from the head of the falls, the cup-shaped paddles against which it strikes, and the outlet valve through which the used-up water flows out. Now we see how the water rushes through the inlet valve, how it hurls its energy against the paddles of the water wheel, and then flows quietly into the river below. As the huge wheel moves, it turns a shaft connected with the machine above, and this transforms the energy of falling water into electrical energy. This machine is called a generator. How practical and economical is the use of the sound film in presenting problems of conservation of natural resources. Before classes everywhere come problems of forest fires and of wasteful lumbering operations. These have combined to help reduce our supply of timber to only 2/5 of the original stand. Confronting the pupils are great areas of water-eroded land and the menace of our western dust bowl. How dramatically wasteful methods of extracting oil can be presented, and the tremendous loss through oil fires. Try to imagine any other way in which such problems could be so vividly portrayed. But fire also has many practical uses, as demonstrated by the steam engine described in the film Fuels and Heat. The essential parts of the steam engine are, first, the firebox in which the heat is produced. Second, the boiler in which the heat is used to produce steam. And third, the cylinder in which the heat carried by the steam is changed into useful mechanical work. Note the sliding valve above the cylinder, which permits spent steam to escape through the exhaust and lets live steam in from the boiler. Steam under pressure comes in from the boiler through the intake valve and forces the piston to move. The energy of motion of the molecules is lost in producing the motion of the piston, and the steam condenses to water. Near the end of the stroke, the sliding valve opens the exhaust on that side and the intake on the other side of the piston. As the new steam comes in, the direction of motion of the piston is reversed. An Erpi Astronomical film shows the essential features of a solar eclipse. As if suddenly transported to the moon, pupils in any classroom may watch the lunar shadow as it swept across the Earth during the eclipse of 1932. Between flitting shadows of cloud, they may watch how the dark lunar disk slowly cut off more and more of the brilliant sun. The shadow cast by the moon crept slowly across the Earth. And at the moment of complete obscuration, the corona of the sun burst into view. For a brief 80 seconds, the sun's disk was blotted out. Then, as the moon continued on its journey, the sun reappeared. Astronomers traveled thousands of miles to see this spectacle. The motion picture can bring it into every classroom. The mysteries of electricity are adapted well to exposition by the sound film. Witness the simple explanation of the alternating current generator in Erpi's talking picture, Electrodynamics. See how the lines of the magnetic field sweeping across these loops cause the negative charges to circulate. When the magnet is stationary, these lines are at rest and no charges circulate in the coil. As the magnet is withdrawn, the charges move in the opposite direction. This leads to the sound film's simple, clear explanation of the principle of the electric generator. Light wave phenomena such as polarization become relatively simple when explained by the Erpi film Light Waves and Their Uses. Waves of light vibrate in all directions. Consider two waves in planes at right angles. As they fall upon this crystalline screen, only one emerges. The light has been polarized. Such a light beam passes through a second crystalline screen if its polarizing plane is in the same direction as the first. But if turned through 90 degrees, the light will be cut off. Here we see light through one polarizer and now through two. But as the second is turned 90 degrees, the result is darkness. On another 90-degree turn, light is again transmitted. Erpi's classroom films likewise clarify many difficult concepts in chemistry. Catalytic action, for example. Assume that two substances normally react very slowly. We introduce a catalyst whose surface, like all other surfaces, consists of peaks and valleys. Because the molecules tend to be adsorbed on the peaks, their atoms may be pulled farther apart, weakening the bond which holds them together. As a result, the adsorbed molecule becomes more reactive, and because it remains in this condition for some time, its chance of reacting with a molecule of another substance is greatly increased. The Erpi film heart and circulation enables students simultaneously to hear and study amplified heart sounds. Authentic animated drawings show clearly how the heart valves work. As one set of valves closes, another set opens, forcing the blood to circulate. Now we actually hear one heart sound as the ventricles contract, and a second when they relax and the exit valves snap shut. With the Erpi film Body Defenses Against Disease, whole classes may readily observe how typhoid bacteria are destroyed. A drop of serum containing antibodies to the typhoid bacilli is introduced. The bacteria begin to stick together, gradually building up clumps. This helps the phagocytic cells to engulf the bacteria, which otherwise would cause infection. A marvelous opportunity to see physiology at work. The production mechanisms of breathing allows the pupil to study by means of animated drawings the effect of new air on the blood circulating in the lungs. Authentic verbal interpretation again clarifies the pictorial action. Blood comes to lung capillaries from all parts of the body. Red corpuscles are shown moving within a capillary adjacent to an air sac. Oxygen molecules are represented in white, carbon dioxide in black. The oxygen content of the incoming blood plasma is low. Therefore, oxygen in the air sac diffuses into the blood and is taken up by the red corpuscles. With Erpi's film Digestion, any class may peer into the digestive tract and study the peristaltic movements sweeping across the lower half of the stomach towards the outlet to the intestines. They may see how, in the course of gastric digestion, hydrochloric acid is produced by the glands of the stomach. This acid, mixed with the food, passes into the duodenum. Here, the hydrochloric acid stimulates the lining cells to produce a substance called secretin, which is absorbed into the bloodstream. Then, it is distributed to all parts of the body, including the pancreas, here shown at the lower right. The secretin activates the cells of the pancreas to produce the pancreatic juice. How clearly another Erpi film portrays nerve control of muscular action and explains the nature of nerve impulses, those mysterious charges which run along the nerve tracts and enable us to think and act. With the same picture, any student may now actually hear the nerve sounds made by a human brain at rest. Finally, a series of films on the symphony orchestra climaxes the contributions which the sound film is making to educational progress. By presenting concepts which cannot be readily taught by other means, Erpi Instructional Sound Films literally bring the world to the classroom.